She's right. The system does need to be changed. But I came up here to tell you my story. What happened to me. And it's a long one. Began at 11:53 at night when my father's best friend had to come into my room and wake me up and tell me I had to leave. I sat up in my bed and I heard my mother and my grandmother crying. I looked out the door, I saw 2 cops, a caseworker. Now why does it take 2 cops to get some kids? You tell me. So making a promise to my mom, I said I'd go. Because that's the only way I would've. I sat in that car while we drove through Dallas in the middle of the night to 2 different shelters. We finally found one that opened up. Otherwise, we would have had to slept in the CPS office building. They would have done that to us. I was up till 4 in the morning signing paperwork to give my life to another person, to another group of people who would not care. I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was told, you gotta do some chores, man, otherwise you can't live here. I told him, hey, dude, I just got to sleep 4 hours ago. They didn't care. They wanted the work done. So we had to get up. We had to do the work. And for 2 months, I was forced to go to a church I did not believe in. I was forced to sicken myself with food that I had not touched for years. They didn't care if they poisoned you with what you ate. It doesn't matter. They get money. They got more money for me than they got for my sister. Because I have a problem. Or so they say. After 2 months, I could not take the way I was treated any longer. And I walked out of the building in which I was staying. I told them, goodbye, I'm gone. I got my sister's blessing so that I could leave. I made a promise that I would come back and I would get her out. And I tried. I stayed on the streets for a week. I had to outrun a cop because I felt that my freedom from these abusers, these neglectors, was more important to me than letting them do what they wanted. I am not, as my sister so greatly put, a cash cow. I am not a paycheck in your pocket. So I got caught. And I got punished. I got put into juvenile holding and told that after 4 days, if they didn't find me a place to stay, we'd try again next week. They didn't care that I slept on a mattress on a concrete slab, that I wore an orange jumpsuit and Velcro shoes. They didn't care. They made me a criminal. They made me something I am not. And so, I returned to the system. Hateful, regretful, because they removed me from my sister. Now that I left, it seems I had no right to see her. I got to see her 1 hour a day, 1 day a week, and that's it. They made me see my sister when I got to see my mother, which was 1 hour a day, 1 day a week. Now you tell me, if you're shoved down to only being 1 hour a day and 1 day a week, when you've spent your entire life with this person, how would you feel? Tell me you'd feel hateful. Tell me you would want revenge. Well, this is my revenge. I will let my voice reach to the top of every building and across the nation so everyone knows what these people do. I had my foot cut open, my arm bruised black from my wrist to my elbow. I had my ankle twisted to the point I could not walk. You know, the only time I got taken to the hospital is when my foot was open, and the bets were placed then on how many stitches I would get. I saw $10 go between these people. The fact that I got 7 stitches in my foot. And while the stitches were being put in, and the pain reliever being shoved into my foot, they laughed. They called me a wuss. And I told them, come here. Let me cut your foot open and shove a needle in it. How would you feel? It wasn't good. It wasn't fun. It was miserable, and they thought it a comedy. And for you, those people that are walking away and think that they don't have to listen to this, that this has nothing to do with them, you wait. You'll come to this group when your children are taken because your house is a little messy. Because there's a false accusation upon you from a 6-year-old with an imagination. I ran away from my second home. There was a very lovely, beautiful woman there who would have called herself my mother had I not had one. She actually cared. She cried when I left, when I got lost, because I broke her heart. Now that is where these people should be. They should care when you disappear. They should think, oh my God, what have I done? But instead they go, oh, he's gone. We'll find him later. I spent 6 weeks on the street to prove to them they could not find me. They could not hold me. They could not do what they wanted to me because I would not allow it. I will never allow someone to use me or abuse me. I, after 6 weeks, had to turn myself in because I was starving. I couldn't go home. So I got put in another care facility until they could find me a foster parent.